All right, we are back. We got another episode of BILLINICO commentary, and we're gonna do some commentary on EYL. Yeah. So I watch EYL, pretty frequently. I think they have great content, keeps you informed, and you definitely appreciate the value that it brings from the show and their different perspectives. Now, when it comes to politics, though, politics is a separate thing from financial literacy. And though I grade them an A in financial literacy, I would give them a D plus in political discussion. And that's just my personal perspective. Sometimes my commentary, it might be taken away or taken offensively. And that's not always that's mostly not the purpose of my commentary. My commentary is to spark a discussion and to change, some people's thoughts on certain things so that they can, benefit from it. They can find value from it and learn and find a new understanding. With that being said, I think that when it comes to political discussions and their political takes, they're pretty bad, and that they're leading a vulnerable community away from the truth. And in this climate with things going on, it's important to be informed and know everything that is happening, the way it's happening, why it's happening, and how it's happening. So I'm going to skip around because I know they talk about Trump, and then give my 2 cents.
While not creating jobs is crazy.
While not creating jobs. So we talking about
push the AI Act.
Hold on.
Because I think that there's still a lot more to go. And
Hold on.
When you look at your account,
Yep.
what positions did you take in these times? Because that will.
This is a great time to buy. Now, you can't predict the market. The market could crash at any time. That's just a fact. I think people need to realize that the market can go down at any time. And yeah, that's an opportunity to buy, but it could always just keep going down and you continue to lose money in value. So it is a risk. But like Warren Buffett says, when people are being fearful, that's when you be greedy. When people are greedy, that's when you take a step back and you be a little more fearful. So right now we're in a time of fear. So when people are fearful, what do? You buy. You allocate some of your funds to purchasing. Hopefully you've been saving some buying power and preparing for this type of, situation. I don't think we've seen the stock market, this shaky. We had a couple down sprouts in 22. And then we had, obviously, COVID. And those were great opportunities to buy. And this is another one. So sometimes things happen and people miss out on the opportunity or to load the boat, phase. So I'm not saying put all of your funds. I'm not a financial advisor, But for someone that does investing and, has ventures, I would recommend buying some valued stocks right now. Nvidia, Tesla. Nvidia and Tesla are good buys right now. I like Kava. Kava's really, really at a good point right now. It's a new product on the market. I mean, Microsoft and Apple are value stocks where I don't know if they're going to give you huge returns like they did previous years, but they're still going up increasingly, in my opinion. TSM, who just struck the deal with Donald Trump as well. But let's see what they say, and then we'll go from there.
So just because the S&P might
is
not
it
be
in trouble or is it where it should be? Not to cut you off.
It's in.
So basically, he's saying that Ian Dunlap is saying, is this a correction? Is this not a crash, but is this more of a correction? Are stocks going back to where they should be because they have been really, really high for quite some time? You know, the stock market, like I said, it has had its dip, but it's also ran it right back up. And not only that, it's ran it up to historical numbers. You know, historical highs, all-time highs for a lot of companies that are in the top, top end of the pick. And these companies that are going high, they're going so high that they're making the entire market, rise with it as well. But that might not be the true value. But I actually think the market it's doing a slight correction. And a lot of this is the tariff talk or tariff implementation. Actually, more than talk at this point. They're implementing it in phases at the moment. And, Trump is getting criticism for how he's doing it because, he's making certain exceptions for the automakers. He's not pausing their tariffs, but postponing it until April 1st April 2nd. And I think that's actually a good thing since he's not doing blanket moves for everything. There's nuance to his strategy. There's different industries that are going to be affected differently by tariffs. Now, the entire economy is going to be affected by tariffs. I know, I get that. But it's a necessary evil in order to bring more revenue and balance our trade deficit. See, this is separate from our budget. Now we're talking about our trade deficit, how we trade with other countries. People are going to say, well, we're making enemies. Well, if you need something, sometimes you have to stand up. It just is what it is. People are saying America's looking very undiplomatic. We're looking like bullies. It's funny how they frame you as a bully when you're just trying to get something and make it actually fair for you and your people. You can't overcharge for something and benefit from that and not go back to the negotiating tables when you are. These other countries need the American consumers, so they need the trend. They need our goods and our buying power. Our buying power, excuse me. They need their goods to be sold here to us. But the terms need to be adjusted. Just like a simple negotiation in business.
Trouble. And I think that the thing, even when Trump, we're going to talk about this later on, but when Trump is changing course, that's a clear indicator, right? Like he came in his first presidency and he was heavy on the stock market. Now he's saying that stock market is not a big deal and he's not worried about the stock market.
Now, I didn't hear this quote and I don't want to, misconstrue what they say. So let's see if we could find this quote that they're talking about. I didn't hear Trump say this. Let's see if we can find it.
President Trump is speaking about the recent stock market volatility. Eamon Javers joins us now with more. Hey, Eamon.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. In an interview with Fox News yesterday, President Trump addressed last week's stock market turmoil caused by confusion around his tariff agenda. In one exchange, the president suggested that calls by the business community for clarity on that policy are just a talking point for the big globalists. Here's what he said.
I think that they say that. It sounds good to say. But for years, the globalists, the big globalists, have been ripping off the United States.
And asked if he's okay with the stock market going down, the president dismissed the idea of short-term focusing on the stock market.
What I have to do is build a strong country. You can't really watch the stock market. If you look at China, they have a 100-year perspective. We have a quarter. We go by quarters.
That's true.
And you can't go by that.
All right. We got it from the horse's mouth. So what he's saying is, so the stock market, okay, this is multiple ways you could talk about this. And you would think EYL, financial literacy boys, would be able to break this down, what he just said. And this is what you want a leader to convey. You want a leader to represent this long-term thinking. He is thinking about the wealth of the country. He's not just thinking about the stock market's ups and downs, which have been going on for years. The stock market it's a great tool. It's a tool used for investors. We get it. You can make money from it. But it's not the ultimate mover of the country. The ultimate moving factor of a country is your productivity. What do you do? What do you do? And then that reflects in the stock market. The stock market is a byproduct of America's efficiency. America was a great company. I mean, a great country. Well, great company, right? A great country with different industries booming, and you got car industry, the automotive industry, and mechanics and robotics, technology, all these things. And then the stock market reflects that, because in the physical reality, this is what we created over here. Now, when you stop creating and you stop producing actual products and services, and there's no cash that's generated, and other countries are taking more cash from us, and we're borrowing, and we're in a deficit, then how long is that stock market going to artificially be propped up to where only a certain segment of people are just taking money from it? Right? Because if you say that all these hedge funds and all these big private equity firms are manipulating the market to go high, and then they're taking money and extracting money from it, and only they can do it the way they're doing it, and the average man can't generate the type of money from it, what's the best way to stop that? And why would the average American that's not really invested in the stock market like that care that the stock market is having these temporary downs? That's why he says this is only about the globalists that care about that, because only the globalists who are participating in these sophisticated money laundering tactics. Yeah, it's deep, right? Because only certain people are participating in these games. Where in America, it's supposed to be a capitalistic society where anyone could participate, anyone could build, and then you go from there. So we're in a tricky situation. Americans are so used to quick things. They're thinking about the stock market in the term of, a quarter, that's 3 months. That's 3 months. I think to get a McDonald's franchise, you have to go, like a year in school, a year class just to get a McDonald's franchise. But we're worried about 3 months. It's going to go down right now because people are being dramatic. People are being fearful because of the tariffs. So instead of listening to our leadership, are you guys listening to Justin Trudeau? Do you believe what a leader from another team is saying about what we're going to feel and what ultimately is hurting him and his country? You think it's going to hurt us in the long term? It's like letting another coach talk to a player on your team and convince your players, hey, listen, your coach is making a mistake. They're trying to get in your head. They don't want you to perform to the best of your abilities so he can thrive even more, so we can thrive anymore. It is what it is. Don't let, the serpent whisper in your ear, so to speak.
Well, that lets you know that lets you know a storm. That lets you know you prepare for a storm. When you start to change course and change rhetoric.
He didn't change course. He literally said, you shouldn't be worried about the short term because the stock market is going to go up. It's going to go down. What we need to do is do real things, real solutions, so that we can have long-term prosperity in this country. So that you're being so short-sighted and undermining his true point, when I know you're pretty intelligent, it says a lot. Either you're blocking out anything that he does that is positive, or you don't want to see it that way.
Your forecasts are not good, right? Yeah. So I do think that the stock market is in trouble for sure, because I think that there's still a lot more to go. And
that's fine. It might be.
The historic action that he's taking is only going to lead to more pain. It could be short-term pain.
Pain is good sometimes. Listen, Hard times create strong men. Strong men create soft times, and soft times create weak men. A little pain is good. A little restructuring, resetting is good, actually. But we're going to do it the American way. The world is restructuring. The world is trying to restructure and become a globalist economy where America's kind of left in this limbo of just being in this eternal debt. Trump is setting the standard where, yes, he's not stopping the globalist agenda. He's not doing that, but he's putting America in a position to where America could participate in a high level going forward. So if you live in this country, that's a good thing, because you don't want to go through what some of these other countries are going through. And it takes power and it takes strength in order for you to keep some of the privileges that we benefit from, whether you understand it or not. So I'm grateful that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing what they're doing. And I think they're going to be heralded for it in the future.